Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your September 2018 general readings. Thank you for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers, and thank you for all of those of you who continue to follow my YouTube channel and watch and like and subscribe and share. And thank you to all of my clients out there, regular and new, for keeping me so busy always with personal one-on-one readings. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you all. Thank you. And as most of you who follow me know, if you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can get more information and contact details by either clicking on the description bar of any of the videos I post, or you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage and click on the little About button. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. I can usually get back with you within the same day or the first 24 hours of your initial contact. And scheduling can be anywhere from a few days, depending on what my schedule is, and reschedules and cancellations, but upwards of a couple of weeks. But almost always within a 2-week period of time or so, we can set up a reading for you. So if you're interested, send me an email. We'll go from there. I do a wide variety of readings, different types in all areas of life. For quick answers to the easier, fast questions, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and that link is also provided. So let's get right into this. This reading is for the Earth sign of Virgo for the month of September 2018. Remember that general readings always resonate a little differently for everybody watching because there's so many of you watching. The details and specifics may vary, but the energy and the advice always remains the same. But for additional insight and clarification, it is helpful to, if you know your rising and your moon sign, to watch those as well. All right, Virgo, let's see what's in store for you for the month of September 2018 for Virgo. Okay, Virgo, we begin with the Ten of Pentacles, followed by the Queen of Swords. We have the Page of Swords, followed by Judgment. We have the Three of Pentacles, followed by the Five of Wands. And the Six of Cups, followed by the Knight of Wands. From the bottom of the deck, the overall energy, focus, and guidance is the Emperor. So I'm getting quite strongly, Virgo, that while, of course, general reading, so the details and specifics will vary, but I feel like there is some kind of conflict that may be legal in nature going on for a lot of you. Who that's with may vary, although there's a lot of familial or family energy here. But it looks like there's some kind of conflict or battle going on. I feel like for a lot of you, it's focused on something tangible like property, finances, division of assets. It could be an inheritance issue. Some of you, there might be a child in question here. So for some of you, it might be like a divorce custody issue. Or maybe maybe a combination of all of those things, especially if it's a divorce issue or something like that. For others of you, it could be a legal issue or a litigation issue in career, work, and finances. But there's a lot of like the connection. There's some home and family connection too. So yeah. So your crowning card from the bottom of the deck, representing the overall focus of energy and advice, is the Emperor. The Emperor is kind of like the ultimate paternal father in the tarot. And it can sometimes represent your father or a father figure. And if not that, so some of you, it might be that issue might have something to do with your father or around your father as well. For others of you, the Emperor would stand for, can represent somebody, if an actual person, it can represent somebody who, somebody older who is in a position of seniority, a position of some status and authority and decision-making capabilities. It can represent, particularly in a legal situation, a judge or somebody who makes a final decision on something. In corporations and businesses, it can represent, the president, the CEO, the VIP, someone like that. So there's definitely that energy. The Emperor, in the upright position though, the Emperor, he's a very thoughtful, methodical individual, or she, because he has an enormous job. He's the Emperor. He has an empire to run, an entire collection of kingdoms. and that's a big job, and there's a million details which everything has to kind of function in order, or there's chaos and things start to fall apart, you know. And he likes things to be by the book and to be in order. You know, he likes to live in a world where all the planes and trains and buses are on time exactly. Wouldn't that be nice? And you know, where things are done according to the way that they're supposed to be done. He can sometimes be a little rigid, very structured, sometimes controlling and domineering on a bad day, but he has a huge job to run that requires the coordination and delegation of millions of details. So, you know, it's kind of understandable. But in the upright position, this is somebody who's focused on doing the right thing. He wants to take his time to evaluate everything and do what is the right thing to do, because he understands that all the decisions and changes that he makes affects a wide variety of people. So truth, honor, justice is also something that a basis that he operates from. Now, we have the Ten of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords here. You know, I usually do 2 cards per week, regardless of whether it's the month entire or the mid-months. But this one, I'm kind of feeling like all of these cards are kind of pointing towards just one ongoing situation, maybe with a lot of moving parts. So that's how I'm going to kind of present it. So we have the Ten of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. So Pentacles is earth energy. And in the tarot, that's the element which governs the suit. And in the tarot, this usually manifests in earthly practical ways, in earthly practical areas of our life. Things like money, finance, property, real estate, assets, job, etc. The Ten of Pentacles tends to also represent completion, something culminating, achieving, or coming to an end in some way. In the early tarot decks, this was called the inheritance card. You can see that it shows a sense of present day, right now, abundance. But it's the kind of abundance that comes from what went into building it up, which is why it was called the inheritance card. The long, slow accumulation of something. And something coming to a culmination, which is what inheritance really means. It means receiving an inheritance, a sum of money or property or assets or something of that kind. But the reason that you're getting it, the reason that it's there, it gives a sense of solidity and comfort and safety because of the long, slow accumulation of things and work and effort that went into building it up. And there's a strong connection with family and home to this as well, which is why it was originally called the inheritance card. So family money, family business, family home, family estate. So again, some of you, you know, the Ten of Pentacles can represent successful retirement or getting a really good cash out bonus. It can represent, you know, that might be that for some of you. Although, again, I feel this conflict and maybe legal issues. So there may be something around retirement that's conflicted with work. It could be a literal inheritance issue for some of you. There may be some conflict, maybe some fighting with legal people or with other family members on the equitable division of assets or family property, maybe selling a family property. I am getting property matters I am getting a strong sense of property issues. So it could be a piece of land or land with a home or a building on it. It could be a family business too as well. In relationships, this can represent a long-term, steady marriage, you know, the kind that, you know, has been around. You know, we're talking about 20, 30-year anniversary, family, everything that kind of goes along with long-term, steady, established relationships as well. But since tens represent completion, there could be, I mean, you could be celebrating a 30th anniversary or, you know, something of that sort. But again, there's conflict energy here. So it feels like there's some challenges in this issue. Now, the Ten of Pentacles is clarified and accompanied by the Queen of Swords. Swords is air energy. That's the element which governs the suit. This is mental energy, cerebral, intellectual, psychological energy. The energy of the suit of swords is about how we look at things, belief systems, perspectives and perceptions, because that directly affects the way that we see, relate, and communicate with the outside world and people in that world. Kings and queens represent individuals who've reached the top of their game. They've mastered their suit, the character traits inherent to their suit. They've matured beyond the energy of the page and the knights. So the Queen of Swords, she's sometimes referred to as the divorced woman. In the reverse, she can be a real difficult person to deal with. She's a queen, so she still has that nurturing edge, but she's very direct, straightforward, to the point. She's got a lot of road behind her. She's been through a lot. She's seen a lot. She's got all those t-shirts hanging in her closet. She doesn't suffer fools easily or well. She doesn't have a lot of patience for BS and for people acting like idiots. Because Swords is also about truth, illumination, clarity, and no extraneous fantasy or BS or illusion at all. So this could represent an air sign, female or male, because it's a general reading: Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Often the Queen and King of Swords, well, a lot of times the Queen and King of Swords can represent a legal person as well, like an attorney or something, a mediator or something of that kind. And clarifying the Ten of Pentacles, it could be, and we have the Emperor and we have Judgment here as well. You know, I am feeling a strong sense of some kind of legal issue or haggling in some kind of legal way, if not an outright, you know, civil suit or litigation, something of that kind. So you could be working with someone on resolving whatever this Ten of Pentacles represents, because in a general reading, it could be a lot of different things. But the completion and perhaps division of whatever the sense of abundance is, whether it's actual dollars and cents or property or, you know, some other kind of legal inheritance sort of thing, or a combination of all of those things. And divorce and custody could be in there as well, or alimony, you know, paying out. For those of you, perhaps this could be a work situation. You might be, you know, retiring, or you might have been, you know, retired suddenly or something of that kind. You might be in some kind of litigation or mediation about what your buyout is, or the retirement package, or something of that sort too. So next to that we have, but I feel like the Queen of Swords for the majority of you is somebody that you're working with or you're dealing with in this situation. With the Emperor kind of overlooking all of it. And there is also a strong energy here of really staying as honest, transparent, and with a sense of personal honor and integrity as possible, even if you feel like being childish or malicious or vindictive or something of that sort. So next we have the Page of Swords and Judgment. Interesting here too, because the Page of Swords, pages are the youngest and least mature energies of the tarot. They can represent, you know, acting in a childish, childlike way. And we have more air energy here. They can also represent children and young people. For some of you, there may be a focus on a child or young person, particularly if this is about divorce, custody, child support, etc. Energetically, the Page of Swords represents doing the right thing, saying the right thing, making sure that what you do and what you say match. Sometimes the Page of Swords can come up as you know, somebody who's acting in a petty, kind of gossipy sort of way. But the underlying energy in terms of advice is this is about being ethical, particularly in how you verbalize. Make sure that what you say matches what you do. That's basically the fundamental definition of personal integrity and honor. What you say and what you do match. Because the Page of Swords can find themselves in a situation that might be moral or ethical, and they're really being called upon to do the right thing, to adhere to what they know the truth is and the right thing to do. And that's kind of underscored hugely by the accompanying card, the Major Arcana card of Judgment. What does judgment mean? I mean, what does it mean to be judged or to stand in judgment of someone? Judgment means that you're called to answer for your actions. You're called to account for what you've done, not what you hoped for, wished for, wanted, but what you actually did, what you said in emotions, what your actions were. That's what it means to be judged. You're being called to answer for what you've done, for your actions and decisions, good, bad, ugly, in between. There's an air of finality to judgment. It's a serious energy. The air of finality is, I mean, you're being judged. So whatever you do, whatever you choose, whatever you decide, whatever you set into motion, you're not going to be able to come back from or reverse and say, oh, I'm sorry, I want to take it back. There's no do-overs here. So, of course, the accompanying advice is, especially clarifying the Page of Swords, say your truth. Don't be as honest and transparent in whatever the situation is. Be as honest and transparent as you can. Don't be vindictive, petty, backbiting, or malicious, even if, you know, you're being baited and egged on. Don't do that. Stick with what you know to be right and true, because that will directly be reflected in the consequences and the outcome for you, particularly as time goes on, because judgment stands. It's something that has a ripple effect for quite a long time. So be careful with that. Next to that, we have the Three of Pentacles and the Five of Wands. So The Three of Pentacles this is earth energy here. That's the element which governs this suit. And in the tarot, this suit is earthly, practical energy, and it usually manifests in earthly, practical, concrete ways in practical areas of our life. Money, finances, property, real estate, assets, etc. I am, again, getting a strong sense of property, like some litigation issue. It could be division of assets, inheritance, again, or divorce, or something of that sort too. What belongs to who and how things get split up. Strong feeling. The Three of Pentacles is a card about teamwork, compromise, and negotiation. This is about working with another person or with a group of people, particularly if it's attorneys, mediators, etc. They all agree that something needs to be done. There's some common cause or common goal, meaning I feel like here you need to figure out who gets what and what's fair. Regardless of how the details and specifics vary in this, because it's a general reading, that energy remains the same. It's about who gets what, vindication, what's fair, what's equitable for everybody. The Three of Pentacles is about compromise and negotiation, because that's how you come to a conclusion that way. Maybe everybody has everybody may have different opinions and different ideas, but this is about compromising and negotiating until you can come to a common solution here. So working together, compromise and negotiation, because that's what's gonna make this process a little smoother and a little easier, and help combat this sense of conflictiveness about, you know, I deserve this and you deserve that, and you don't deserve this and I deserve this, and, you know, all of that kind of stuff, because there's a lot of this little conflictive energy. And the Three of Pentacles is clarified by the Five of Wands, which is a card of conflict. It's fire energy, so it's very, you know, passionate, enthusiastic, energetic energy. The Five of Wands is about conflict. It can be external conflict, internal conflict, a combination of both. Although I don't know any situation where we don't have conflict with people externally and it doesn't affect us internally. You can see that these men are in a circle and they're sparring with each other. They're not using real weapons, they're using practice weapons. So they're not out for blood, they're not out to kill each other. But there's no giving in. Nobody's willing to give or take an inch. It can represent conflict that's just like fighting over the same thing over and over and over again, around and around. Nobody willing to compromise and negotiate. So there's no winner but no loser and no solution. It just keeps going around and around. It can represent petty energy, backbiting, gossip, rumor mongering, petty energy. Nobody willing to give up an inch, because and the overall energy, this Three of Pentacles, compromise and negotiation. Compromise and negotiation is about giving and taking, and doing that requires saying, okay, what's the most important thing here? What are the priorities here? And let's work together towards that to resolve this issue, even if it has to be done through attorneys and mediators. So definitely compromising and negotiation. If you're really stuck on something and it's been going nowhere, take another look at it, maybe step back, maybe elevate yourself and go, okay, what's really important here? What's the really super important thing here, and what can I let go of or compromise on? Now, at or towards the end of the month, we have the Six of Cups and the Knight of Wands. So here we have cups. This is water energy. That's the element which governs this suit. And in the tarot, this is the watery, mercurial energy of emotions, feelings, relationships. The Six of Cups is a card primarily associated with the past, history, family, childhood, roots of origin, where you grew up, the cultures and traditions that you're grounded in. Being like a child in a good way, giving and receiving very much like a child does, being very open to that. It can represent travel back to your past, meaning, you know, maybe traveling back to where you grew up, roots of origin, childhood, family, etc. There's a sense of nostalgia about it. It can represent looking at something through rose-colored glasses, you know, like looking back in childhood when we felt maybe we were more carefree and had less concerns and worries. So what clarifies it is the Knight of Wands. So more fire energy here, very fast, aggressive energy, because knights are very spontaneous and impulsive. They can represent actions, an offer or opportunity, and fast-moving situations. And the Knight of Wands, because his element is fire, is the fastest of all four of the knights. This card can often come up for moving, relocating, selling a piece of property, your location changing, property changing, location changes, job location changing, maybe not the job itself, but where you do the work changing, changing your residence. Now, because it's clarified by the Six of Cups, some of you at or towards the end of September 2018 maybe you know, taking a trip back to your childhood home, roots of origin, parents somehow. Since I'm feeling such a strong sense of property, I keep getting that going through my head. You could be selling, gaining or selling a piece of family property, or selling it and dividing up the assets. You could be moving back to your family home or moving out of your family home. There's a sense of things moving quite rapidly though. You know, and maybe a travel or relocation as well. So it looks like, again, general reading, there's so many details coming in that represent different stories that I'm channeling right now. So, you know, divorce, custody, property, money, alimony, child support, division of assets, inheritance. I've got energy in all of those areas here. The energy remains the same. The advice remains the same. Be careful throughout this process, especially because there's a lot of petty negative energy, conflictive energies. There always is when people, you know, are haggling over money and property and who gets what and what's fair, because everybody has a different perspective. Be very careful not to elevate yourself above gossip, rumor mongering, being nasty, vindictive, vicious. Be transparent, be honest. Even if you can think you can get away with being dishonest because it might get you more or hurt somebody more, don't do that. Karma always has a way of coming back to us in one form or another. Personal honor and integrity is the name of the day here. Because in the end, as this plays out, you will be glad that you did, because that karma comes back to you as well. A really interesting reading. This will be one I'll be especially interested to hear the feedback about. It looks like it resolves itself pretty quickly at the end of September, maybe the beginning of October as well. Or at least you come to a common agreement. So Virgo, that pretty much represents your, sums up your September 2018 general readings. I hope that it was helpful, at least didn't confuse you too much. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can get more information and contact details by either clicking on the description bar of any of the videos I post, or you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage and click on the little About button. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy for quick answers to the quick, easier questions. Please feel free to email me directly for personal readings at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you and set up a reading with you as quick as we can, live or recorded. I do love and romance, of course, compatibility charts to see about relationship compatibility, reconciliation spreads to look at that. I do career, work, and finance. I also do investment readings, channeled messages from past on loved ones, gift readings. I also do 6 and 12-month overviews, which look at what's coming in your life over the next 6 or 12 months, you know, depending on how far ahead you want to look. So if you're interested in any of those, send me an email and we'll go from there. I'll see you all again, Virgo, in a couple of weeks for the September 2018 mid-month readings. And until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.